Coach's Corner.
Welcome to the Coach's Corner. I'm glad that you guys are here with us. We're going to do a little fantasy football, a little NFL talk today. And my co-host here today is none other than Mr. Hair Club for Men, Coach Kevin. And yes, this is a football podcast, hence the reason for the jersey. And yes, it's Baltimore, so he has his Oreo shirt on today.
Coach Kevin Solomon here. Don't hate on the great, man.
It's the Soul Glow.
Can't please everybody, but you know how it goes. Hall of Fame bowler for the state of Maryland.
Yeah, that is true. Hall of Fame
48 300 games, 21 800 series, 4-time state champ, just to name some things. But we're not here to talk about the bowling balls today.
Thank goodness.
We're here to talk about the NFL.
So let's get into a little bit of a NFL recap from yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a week 3.
Had a historic performance.
Absolutely. You know. But we're going to get into one of the games yesterday, Steelers and Raiders.
Did that rub you the wrong way a little bit?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You know, as a former high school quarterback, a couple injuries set me back from making it to the big next level.
That was with the leather helmets?
No, it's with the 2 ACL tears. Don't mind this guy.
Oh, man.
First it's the hair, then he want to go to the leather helmets. But anyway, as a quarterback, I want my head coach to believe in me wholeheartedly, 1,000%. It's late in the game. It was between 3:45 and 5:25 left in the game, somewhere between that time frame. I'm Jimmy G.
Okay.
I got a 4th down and 5 from the 15-yard line or the 12-yard line, somewhere in that neighborhood.
In the red zone.
In the red zone. And you bring on the field goal kicking team as we are down by 8 with the amount of time I just talked about.
Right. So now are you more upset because Jimmy G has great hair also? or you're more upset because of the circumstance of the game?
Once you're in a quarterback club, you are in a quarterback club forever. We are fraternity.
It's a fraternity. Okay.
This guy to my right, he might have played some offensive line in his day. But I don't know.
Ooh, man.
So as a cornerback fraternity, I'm losing with my quarterback.
Okay.
I'm not going to lose with my defense.
Okay.
My quarterback is going to blow the game for me or give the game away or win the game.
Gotcha.
And I'm thinking I'm going with him to win the game.
So do you think that decision has set the Raiders and Jimmy G back a little bit?
I don't know about the Raiders because do the whole team believe in Jimmy G? I'm not sure.
Okay.
But
Coach clearly doesn't, so we see that.
Yeah. So I know it's going to rub Jimmy G the wrong way because the look on his face when Coach took him off the field on a 4th and 5 was priceless. Priceless.
Yeah, if looks could kill.
He'd
have a murder case right there.
Right. Come to Baltimore.
Come to Baltimore. And do we ship him out? Is it a case in point where Jimmy is so upset where he says, I want out of here?
No. Jimmy G ain't got too many great years left in him, so he may have found his last home for right now. And he looked good last night throwing the ball to Devontae Adams. I mean, Devontae Adams had a major night. Jacoby Myers on the other side, he played brilliant.
Okay.
The guy that's left out in that offense is Renfro.
Right.
He may have had 2 catches last night, and they were late, and one of them was on that last drive. So I wouldn't be shipping Jimmy G out just yet. I like the way he's been playing so far.
Okay. So from one quarterback who's throwing it to Devontae Adams to Devontae's previous team, the Green Bay Packers, did you check out that game? Packers were losing 17-0 in the 4th quarter, and Aaron Rodgers' replacement, Mr. Jordan Love himself, came in, put the team on his back, carried the Packers to an 18-17 victory. All in the 4th quarter. Got his first home win as a starting quarterback. And it's making people think that, hey, they may have did the right thing by having him sit behind Rodgers those first couple years and get his feet wet, so to speak. He's in there looking like a legitimate starting quarterback now.
So in theory, what are the cheeseheads saying?
The cheeseheads are loving to win.
For sure.
The cheeseheads are loving to win.
See, You said they're loving to win. That's the key word.
That's it.
Love. Love. It's like the love doctor.
Like the love doctor.
My man out there doing his thing in crucial situations. Looking like a love doctor, or some might say look like Aaron Rodgers in his prime getting things done. You know, so he delivered.
So did he look like you in high school? Minus the leather helmet, I mean.
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Little bit of scramble ability, dropping dimes to the left, dropping dimes to the right, you know.
A little Magic Johnson, hee this way, hee that way.
Man, you took the words right out of my mouth.
There it is. Okay. So the Green Bay Packers look to seem they seem to have righted the ship, if you will. They have a nice nucleus of receivers. Watson when he's healthy, Dobbs, the rookie whose name escapes me, number 11. They seem to be on the right track. And then they get Aaron Jones hopefully back this coming week.
Yeah, you know, they're doing it pretty much since Aaron Jones got hurt without a running game, because A.J. Dillon, contrary to most people's belief, haven't done anything in the 2 games where he had the opportunity to shine.
You know, most running backs, they measure their carries by yards. You know, he had 3 carries for 12 yards. A.J. Dillon, they're measuring it by inches. 3 carries, 6 inches. He's terrible. I can go in there and do that right now.
Well, minus his last comment, everything he said was true. Don't believe he could go there and get it done.
No, I don't even want to talk about the Vikings. I mean, I don't want to talk about Aaron Rodgers anymore. What game you got up next, sir?
How about them boys? Whew. I didn't get a chance to see the Stephen A. Smith show today, but you can watch it right here. Because I can hear Stephen A. Smith laughing all the way to the I told you so. Ooh. You know, Stephen A., he loves Jerry Jones, but he can't stand them Cowboy fans, and I'm one of them big old Cowboys fans.
How about them Cowboys?
And let me tell you, we went from having the best defense to losing the superstar cornerback, Trayvon Diggs, and I hate
the whole defense.
I hate to say it, he may have been the glue to it. We talk about Parsons 24/7, but Diggs yesterday we just didn't get it done defensively.
Yeah, not at all.
But nevertheless, they still played well enough to win a game. You know, the defense has carried the Cowboys for 2 weeks. Okay, so we got this big payroll on the Cowboys team, and it all starts with Dak Prescott, the one you hate to love. You know, and I'm one of them ones. Listen,
I want to do the little hip thing. He hasn't been right since the little hip thing. Remember that thing?
Right.
He has not been right since that little warm up with the hip shake.
Listen,
you know?
Dak played at Texas A&M.
Shakira.
Dak was a Heisman Trophy candidate. He had a great junior season. He had a Heisman Trophy candidate his senior season. The thing about Dak Prescott that I'm starting to realize is
he's terrible.
Well, I wouldn't say he's terrible.
He's just really bad.
I would say he does not respond to pressure well, because his junior year in college, there was no pressure on Dak Prescott. He had a phenomenal year, got himself into Heisman Trophy consideration, and as soon as the Heisman Trophy consideration came on in college, his senior year, he didn't do much of anything.
Pooped the bed.
You know, he didn't have the type of season he had his junior year, put it to you like that. So
as a Cowboy fan, long-time Cowboy fan, I might add, for those that don't know.
Yes.
How much longer does Jerry stick with Dak?
I think this is Dak's swan song.
You think it's a swan song? That's why they brought in Trey Lance?
Yes. Dak has to get the Cowboys to the NFC Championship game.
At a minimum.
At a minimum.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know, he has to get them there. It's going to be tough because Philadelphia Eagles being in their division, only one of them can get home field advantage. It's either going to be the Cowboys or the Eagles. And it's primarily going to come down to when they play each other twice a year, can the Cowboys beat the Eagles? Because it's not too many other teams going to be able to beat the Eagles, I don't believe. You know, so that's going to be a big deal in getting to the NFC Championship game, the home field advantage.
So the one thing that we didn't mention for the viewers is who the Cowboys lost to.
Well, the guy to my right, he been talking about before the season even started, when I took James Conner as one of my running backs, who's having a great season, by the way, so far. This guy to my right, All he was talking about, he ain't gonna do nothing. They are throwing games away to
let me clarify that statement. The Cardinals may be lucky to win 3 games. They are in the Caleb Williams race.
That's what he was saying, but I explained to him, ain't nobody throwing no games at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, or they'll look good early. Yeah.
You know, so
but the Cowboys may have threw a game early in the season.
Hey, you never know. Dak, we how my man say, we got a Dak.
Oof.
You know,
Yeah.
Dak had 2 plays in that game that told me he was nervous. The one play late in the game, third quarter, the right part of the end zone, the wide receiver beat him off the line, got behind him, and Dak throws the ball short in the corner. The wide receiver prevented the interception.
Right.
He jumped over the guy's head, tried to pull the ball back, but
That was Cooks, if I'm not mistaken.
he had a step and a half on him. Yeah. The ball's supposed to be to the back end of the corner. Dak underthrew him by 2 yards, and that to me spoke nerves. And the second play, the last drive, the Cowboys had the ball with an opportunity to still win the game. Dak stared down the middle receiver the whole way, never looked off anybody. The ball should have went to the right corner because the guy, once again, beat him to the right corner. He threw it to the in route on the inside where they had 2 linebackers there. Interception. Yeah.
So Dak is clearly not seeing the. I think Dak took a step back once the ankle injury happened.
So
it was that and the Shakira all at the same time. I think that was the same season.
That's a possibility.
You know? But from your favorite team to my favorite team, the Cowboys, who lost that game 28-16 to my beloved Ravens.
Well, one last thing about Dak. Can I speak on
give
one
me
last
what you got
thing?
on Dak.
All right. Number one, I'm a Tony Romo fan. I love Tony Romo.
Yeah.
And
he was probably a Starbucks fan too.
When Dak, absolutely, Roger Staubach and Tony Dorsett, when Dak took over for Tony Romo due to Tony Romo's injury, I heard Jerry Jones say 3 times on national TV, when Romo is healthy, he'll be our starting quarterback. Unfortunately, Dak got off to like a 10-1 start.
Correct.
And there was no pressure on Dak. Once again, it comes down to pressure. There was no other backup quarterback, so Dak was the guy. No pressure. You don't play well, I'm a backup quarterback.
Right.
So it was no pressure. But once again, when Romo was out of the starting pitcher, the very next season after that, the pressure started to mount on Dak, and he has not responded well to the pressure ever since. And then when you get the big contract and the public talks about it, that just adds more pressure
and
to
Stephen
Dak.
A doesn't help either.
And Stephen A definitely don't help.
Yeah, definitely not.
But going back to you, Coach.
Okay, so the yesterday we had the Baltimore Ravens hosting the Indianapolis Colts. And for those in Baltimore, we all know that we absolutely despise the Colts and the whole thing that Irsay did when he left on the Mayflower trucks in the middle of the night.
1983, 12 o'clock at night in the snowstorm.
At the time, I'm living in the Waverly area, for those that are familiar with Baltimore, right across the street from the old Memorial Stadium. So we saw the movements and all of that. It was crazy.
Well, from what they say, we were just teenagers.
No, you were teenagers. I was a preteen. You were a teenager. Yeah. Okay, let's get that established. Yes. Okay.
Noted. Duly
noted. Gotcha. Yes.
Let me say this. No one knew that the Baltimore Ravens were moving out of town. They tried to be on a sneak tip.
They snuck out.
Sneak tip. But someone got wind of it, and they had the helicopters in the air. And I mean, it was snowing, and the helicopters was shining their lights down on the green Mayflower trucks.
Yep.
I will never forget it.
And I will never shop with Mayflower ever again either.
They left town too.
Oh man! But what's left now are the Baltimore Ravens, and they stink up the place yesterday.
Well,
the offense just looks absolutely pitiful. It looks like it's running in mud.
Even with that being said, they were still in a great position to close out and win the game.
So from that aspect, you're right. But we're talking about an Indianapolis Colts without their starting quarterback, without their starting running back. And the Ravens are just doing nothing.
Well,
they can't capitalize on anything.
Well,
and of course, no OBJ again. Your favorite. He's out.
Right.
Another injury.
Well, you played sports, coach, but you weren't the quarterback.
I was not a quarterback.
And you weren't on the football team.
I was on the team. I wasn't the quarterback.
So he says.
He was on the other side of it.
But listen to me. Everybody has that letdown feeling like we're going to just come in here and beat these boys. They're not a threat to us. Mm-hmm. And then you have these games where you're so hyped up because both teams of a equal talent.
Okay.
Well, yesterday the Ravens came in flat thinking they would just win this game, hands down. Mm-hmm. And that happens in sports, believe it or not.
It does.
Mm-hmm. Being a former quarterback, I've had plenty of teams where I knew I would just dismantle,
Did y'all ever make it to the county championship?
Man, we were the best. We were so good, we couldn't even play in Baltimore County. Woodlawn High and Randallstown High, we had to play in Howard County League because we were too talented for Baltimore County.
Did you win the Howard County League?
We were 8-1 coming into the last game against rival Woodlawn.
Okay.
And we needed that win to get in the playoffs.
And you were the quarterback. Give us the story how you handled this thing. You led them to the championship.
Well,
show us the Super Bowl
needless to say, that team, Randallstown, was 7-2. We were 8-1.
Uh-huh.
And they were just as good as us. That's why we were the only two teams.
I want to apologize to the viewers that came in here for an NFL recap and now are getting a historic lesson from 1979, Woodlawn and Randallstown. Go ahead. Continue, please.
87, please.
87. Oh.
Anyway, needless to say, Randallstown upset us 21-14. Good ball game, but we lost.
Oh. So it was on the quarterback.
But the hype of the game was there.
Okay.
Going back to Coach C's part here, the hype for the Ravens just wasn't there yesterday. They thought they were coming.
So who was that on? Is that on the coach or was that on the quarterback?
Well, it's on the entire team.
Somebody's got to. No more Ray Lewis there, so there's got to be somebody that inspires and uplifts.
Unfortunately, it's not tennis. Mm-hmm. There's no one player that can rise above all. Everybody has to rise together. Even if
somebody's got to hold you accountable.
Well, listen here. The game was not played well, but I'm holding Harbaugh accountable.
Okay.
Because the thing is, 2 minutes, 5 seconds on the clock, you're punting to the Ravens.
To the Colts.
You're punting to the Ravens.
So the Colts had the ball.
The Colts had the ball, and they were punting to the Ravens.
To the Ravens. The 2:05 left. Catch it.
Right.
Okay.
The ball was in the air. Rookie Zay Flowers, great talent, and it'll be a great possible Hall of Famer one day. You as a coach, before Zay Flowers leaves that sideline,
have to give him instructions on what we're looking to do.
If you're not getting ready to get hit, do not call a fair catch because you will leave time on the clock, and then when you run the next play, the 2-minute warning will stop the clock.
Have to stop the clock, correct.
So you should give him instructions. If you're not getting ready to get hit, catch the ball, run around for a yard or two to take the clock down to 2 minutes.
Absolutely.
They called a fair catch, which left the clock at 2:01.
Correct.
So when the Ravens ran a play,
it was a free timeout.
It was a free timeout.
Right. Yep.
Then they ran another play, and the clock ran down some. Then they ran a third play, and they get a penalty, which stops the clock.
Right.
So the Ravens only took off 16 seconds off of the clock. When you are an experienced, one of the longest tenured coaches in the NFL, this is unexcusable.
Right.
So
on that note, with the unexcused coachings, we're going to take our first break and then come back with a little bit more of the excitement from Sunday before we head into our fantasy studs and duds.
Hi, how you doing? My name is Rob McLaughlin. I'm the HVAC instructor here at the Baltimore Vocational Training Center. We are a part of NCIA. Here at the Vocational Training Center, we have 3 vocations: CDLP, automotive, and HVAC. We also have a workforce development class and job force placement. Not only do we focus on those vocations, but we also focus on personal development, barrier removal, to make sure that our students can keep and gainful employment. I've been here at this organization about 4 years. It has grown tremendously. We've expanded into Charlotte, North Carolina. Very successful down there also. Wonderful team. And we couldn't do this at all without Herbert Holter, our founding partner. Thank you very much.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner. Yes, we're talking about our NFL recap from yesterday, and we cannot conclude this segment of the show without talking about the record-setting performance from the Miami Dolphins yesterday, as they played Madden against the Denver Broncos. This was like they had the sticks here and was just giving them the business, 70-20.
No, see that was Michael Irvin and the Miami Hurricanes back in the 80s and stuff like that.
Man,
that was a college score, you know.
No NFL team has scored that many points since you were born, 1966.
Nah, he's a little off with that one. They get the 9 and the 6 turned around.
Oh, all right. Okay. But yeah, that's impressive. And Tua Tagovailoa. Everybody thought he was going to be concussed by now. They thought he was going to be out of there. Said he was too small. He's doing his thing so far.
Well, from what I understand, Tua, he took some classes this summer. He took some
on how not to get hit,
karate classes, some Zumba classes, you know, because it showed him how to move and bend and all that type of stuff so he don't get hit.
He's in the Matrix.
The way they could put him out. Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay.
Keanu Reeves, you know, is into it now.
Gotcha. Okay. So let's talk about this record-setting performance. Tua had more touchdowns than he had incompletions.
88% completion ratio?
It's just ridiculous.
That's unheard of.
He was 23 for 26, 309, and 4 touchdowns.
Listen, Tyreek Hill, he made a statement last year when he got traded. And I don't believe it was any disrespect to one of the greatest of all time already in Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
His statement was, if you didn't hear it, Tua is the most accurate passer I have ever seen.
And you can see that. You can definitely see that he is extreme. He doesn't have the big cannon of an arm.
No.
But he puts the ball where it's supposed to be.
I tell you, if Tua had the arm of a Patrick Mahomes.
Or you wouldn't talk about anybody else but him.
Or a John Elway type arm, it would be a wrap for greatest of all time. I mean, we know Brady with the Super Bowls.
Right.
But Brady.
But with that team they got in Miami, it could get interesting. There could be a push.
Listen. Go ahead, Coach.
Now, how about speaking of Tyreek Hill? Tyreek had 11 targets, 9 catches, 157 yards, and a touchdown. And it's like that first play, how do you forget where Tyreek Hill is?
Well, see.
How was he that wide open?
And see, this is where I was going, but I figured you was going to lead with something like that. Great anticipation on my part.
On your part, yes.
Tua did not have Mr. Waddle.
Okay.
So we're going to turn to coaching now.
Okay, turn to coaching.
Sean Payton, he wants to talk about the Green Bay former offensive coordinator, former Denver Bronco head coach.
Right.
Where's that mirror at?
Oh, right there.
He better look in the mirror. He better look in that mirror because I'm telling you, the first thing I'm going to do is take away Tyreek Hill.
Right.
Safety over the top, cornerback on him at all times. He was still able to get 100.
And was it 157? Yep.
157 yards and a touchdown. You know, that's unacceptable.
Right.
But yet, Sean Payton thinks of himself as like a Belichick type of a guy, but offensively. But he's going to have to tighten the screws up. And it's no big secret that Russell Wilson is not Sean Payton's favorite.
I think that's obvious now.
And no, that's no big secret.
Right.
So if I was the Broncos and Sean Payton, you can't just drop Russell Wilson with the big contract and all that type of stuff. But there is a scenario out there, and you've heard it here first because I'm bringing it up. The Jets are in need for a quarterback. Okay. I would trade Russell Wilson to the Jets. Give up Aaron Rodgers. Give up Wilson.
Okay.
Send them both to Denver.
Okay.
Until Sean Payton gets his quarterback. So he'll use Wilson this year. Zach Wilson, that is. because the Broncos aren't going anywhere as a right to second.
Okay.
Get Rodgers ready for next year and give Sean Payton a chance to find his quarterback that he's looking for.
Okay.
So the Jets would have a chance to win right now with Russell Wilson.
Now, he's clearly better than Zach Wilson.
Exactly.
But is he enough to get you over the hump if you're the Jets?
It's like one Wilson.
For another?
Well,
this ain't Wilson Pickett. This ain't like the Wilson brothers.
Well, Russell Wilson is still a dominant factor. Zach Wilson is like, remember Dennis the Menace? Hey, Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, that guy.
He's like that guy, Mr. Wilson from Dennis the Menace.
Or Flip Wilson, the old comedian.
All you viewers today, y'all probably don't have an idea about Dennis the Menace.
Yeah, no one was born in the 60s on
Yeah,
this
he
show.
used to have his neighbor, Mr. Wilson. But anyway,
So
going
we
back to the
digress.
Dolphins.
We digress. It's a light skin thing that happens every now and then. We truly apologize. So let's go back to this record-setting performance by the running backs in Miami. Devon Achane, 18 carries, 203 yards, with 2 touchdowns on the ground. And Raheem Mostert, the often well-traveled Raheem Mostert, 13 carries, 82 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Come on, let's be honest. Raise your hand if you knew about Devon. Yeah, you see my Oreo shirt? Didn't budge.
Didn't know anything about it.
Didn't budge.
You didn't know anything about Bijan.
Didn't budge.
You thought it was a mustard. What you got,
know-
that new mustard? What's that, Bijan? That's that new mustard?
You know, he put on a performance yesterday. You know who he is now.
Everybody knows about him now.
Yeah, both the running backs put on a performance, but everybody knows Mostert. He's an exceptional talent. He played with the 49ers. He was great. I couldn't believe they traded him, but he got hurt a lot. This guy, Mostert, he swears he's faster than Tyreek Hill. We're not sure about that.
I would like to see that race happen, though.
Right. We know he's fast, so
Right.
his performance is not shocking. But this A-Chain, pretty special performance.
Now, I just got a news alert that, on a different note, I got a news alert, speaking of running backs, that the Saints running back who was previously on suspension, Alvin Kamara, is now being reinstated and allowed back in the building. That just passed across my my news alert number. That's off screen here. I have a news alert service here that gives me all the up-to-date information. What do you think about that?
I think it's big for the Saints because that defense is playing well. And
And
Right.
Kendre Miller and Tony Jones just ain't getting it done.
right, I was about to say they have a cycle of backs going on that aren't doing much, not to disrespect them. I mean, it's tough to be a running back in the NFL, especially these days.
You worried about respect?
R-E-S.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Turn up on it means to be. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Hey, take care, T-C. Soccer Timmy. Oh, sorry. We digress again. I apologize.
This guy.
We're back.
But yeah, no disrespect towards them. It's tough to be a running back, and
Right.
you gotta earn your stripes in the NFL like anywhere else, and they'll get it going eventually. But a proven back like Alvin Kamara,
Would help that system.
because the thing is, Derek Carr, he needs help
Right.
because
Who got hurt in this game, too.
yeah,
Yeah.
the check downs for him to Alvin Kamara would be sensational.
Yeah.
because Alvin will get you 4 and 5, even on a bad day,
Yeah.
off
4 or
of
5
screen
catches.
pay.
Right. Yeah.
So Derek Carr could use that, because he has 2 special receivers on the outside,
Right.
Olave
It's special. Yeah.
and the former special.
Yeah. Mr. I'm finally alive, Michael Thomas.
Yes, so he has the potential, and he got his boy back. Well, it wasn't his boy; it was the former Saints superstar quarterback. What's his name?
Who you
Drew
talking
Brees.
about?
Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Jimmy Graham, who got up in the end zone
Who got his
yesterday.
end zone. You know, he has the fourth most touchdowns for a tight end.
And had he stayed this $5 butt in New Orleans from the beginning,
From the beginning.
he would be a Hall of Fame tight end right now
I
for
definitely
sure.
think so.
Now he's on the I'm not
Nah.
sure because he was on a pace to get so many touchdowns.
Right.
But when he left New
Chasing
Orleans,
the bag.
when he
Chasing
left
the
New
bag.
Orleans chasing the money, he kind of went forgotten about.
I hope he brought a nice car with that money.
Forgotten about.
Yeah.
He went to Russell Wilson. I thought he was going to be a beast when he went to Seattle.
And see, we're back to the same Russell Wilson again.
It just didn't happen. Well, Russell has some good receivers he was throwing to, and Jimmy Graham just wasn't the focus point. But anyway,
I think Russell's a better father than he is a quarterback.
he might be a better husband with that wife of his,
Yeah, that's true, too.
Sierra.
Yeah.
Sorry, honey. I love you more. But anyway, Jimmy Graham came up yesterday with a touchdown. He looks like he's trying to rekindle the Jimmy Graham days from.
Do you think it's possible?
I absolutely do.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I'm on the other end. I think he's out there like he's got one leg in the cast and the other one with a kickstand.
Nah, I think Jimmy Graham still got something in the tank.
More so than Zach Ertz?
Yes, sir.
Because Zach Ertz laid an egg yesterday.
Yes, sir. I think Jimmy Graham is in the right position to help this team because you got anytime you got two great wide receivers on the outside,
Okay.
that frees up the tight end. That frees up the tight ends big time, you know.
Right.
I'll take it back to the Kellen Winslow days when he had John Jefferson and Charlie Joyner on the outside before most of your time. Kellen Winslow Sr., not Jr., was considered the greatest tight end up until this Travis Kelce and what's the light-skinned curly-haired dude?
You? Coach
Yeah.
Kevin Solomon?
They ain't what they used to be, but
Oh.
what's the former Tony Gonzalez?
Oh.
Tony Gonzalez, Tony Gonzalez came into question.
You remind me of Tony Gonzalez.
Thank you.
I don't know if that's a helmet that you have on or not, but it's about the same size as a
Look
helmet.
like that level football helmet you was talking about. Yeah, so I think Jimmy Graham has the opportunity to resurface in the NFL as one of the elite tight ends again, and I'm looking for a big season out of him because Derek Carr, he loved to hit Darren Waller,
Right.
so I can't see why he wouldn't love to hit another big 6'8" type of dude, Jimmy Graham.
Yeah. I mean, it's the potential for that one last hurrah is definitely there, but I'm not looking forward to it.
And like I said, like you brought up, Alvin Kamara will be back, and I think he'll be a big asset to the team because they got all the pieces in place to be great. They got a
Right.
great defense. They got two great wide receivers. They got a tight end that could be what he used to be, and they got a perennial running back in Alvin Kamara.
Right.
Still got the jiggle juice.
Yeah.
Watch him move, y'all. Think I'm joking?
Okay.
Watch him move.
We going to get off of that page.
Oh, there you go.
So let's talk about some of these fantasy studs and duds from Sunday. Who tops your list? For me, my biggest dud is none other than Mr. Joshua Kelly. 2 weeks in a row with Eckler on the sideline, this man has produced absolutely nothing.
That's shocking. A lot of times people say Emmitt Smith, when he was running the ball so great, you could put Coach C back there and he run the ball the same way. And you're seeing that you cannot because Eckler gets it done. Catching the ball, running the ball. You can't just throw any old back behind the offensive line and think he's going to get it done. Coach C would be an example with the Dallas Cowboys in the heyday of the 90s. Emmitt Smith, Russian NFL all-time leader. Coach C wouldn't have got 5,000 yards, you know what I mean? So don't just assume Joshua Kelly going to do the same thing.
You would expect more than what he did. I mean, he laid an egg.
People would expect more from you if you
That
behind the
is true.
Cowboys line.
That is true.
You
That is
know,
true.
but it wouldn't happen.
I could have got 3,500 yards in a career.
It wouldn't happen.
No? All right.
This guy, Coach C, he's a talent. He knows a lot of stuff. Just stay off the football field, man. So,
Well, who's your dud, sir? Tell me who your dud is.
dud from
From
yesterday.
yesterday. Yes. Who's your dud?
Well, sometimes
And not the milk kind.
you shouldn't talk about coaches because my dud is Justin Fields.
Ooh, man.
Talked about he was going to go back. If you saw the press conference this week,
he laid his coach out.
He started out with the coaches, then he came back and reiterated.
Tried to clean
it's
it up
not
a little
on the
bit.
coaches, it's on me. I got to play better. I will play better. I'm going to be me. My coach is going to let me be me now. And
Right.
that means I can run and throw and read coverages. Well, yesterday, another dud.
Yet another.
Point blank, another dud.
Yeah, yet another.
I think he's all out of finger pointing right now.
You know, the
When he wake up in the morning and he go to that bathroom, I know he got a mirror in there
he probably got a
because he
towel
gonna look
over
in
it.
that mirror and be like,
He's got a towel over it.
he gonna look in that mirror and say, ain't nobody else to point the finger. I gotta be better. I let the team down. I'm the quarterback. I'm the franchise. I'm the number one pick.
So are they regretting keeping him and not taking C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young? Because they had the first overall pick this year.
I think they still believe in him because of what he showed at the end of last season, but I always enable things like that to pressure. At the end of last season, there wasn't a lot of pressure on the Bears. They got off to a bad start. He was a rookie quarterback, so he was able to relax, get it going. This year, after what he did last year,
Right.
the pressure may have got.
A little too much, you think?
It's possible.
Well, like last year, they started off with a very poor start because they didn't let him run again, and then they come back this year with the same exact philosophy that didn't work before. So I don't know. Maybe it's another coaching situation that we got to take a look at.
It could
they
be.
have not won anything since they got rid of Lovie Smith, and Lovie was 10-6 that year, and they fired that man. They haven't done anything since then.
That might be a whole nother conversation. So
That's a whole nother show by itself.
I'm going to divert from that.
Yeah. So we're gonna go to our next dud, and this is one close, near, and dear to your heart. How about the Cowboys defense as a whole, laying an egg yesterday, and in some leagues having a negative number, but in our league they had a 0, the fat goose egg. Now let me give some backstory to this. There's a certain member in our fantasy league. Am I pointing the right way? That drafts defenses like in round 4. And he tells everybody that it's because they're going to score 40 points every week. They're going to do this and they're going to do that. And the first week, I got a call about midnight. Hey, coach, what I tell you, them defenses is this and the defenses is that. How about them? And he was singing the song. He had the music playing in the background. How about them Cowboys? On. So I had to eat that. I had to take it. I had to listen to it, the whole thing. So when I call him yesterday, it's crickets. I get the voicemail. I get his wife answering, talking about he's not home right now. Everything. Okay.
One thing about this guy to my right, I will tell you this. This man can fabricate a story. First of all, I called this guy. I'm going to tell you, he didn't want to call me. You know why he didn't want to call me? The defense was a petty situation compared to what my 2 fantasy teams did. I had 2 fantasy teams score 200 points.
That is correct. That's a fact.
He was not going to pick up that phone and dial them 7 digits. He's like, I can't let this light-skinned fella get all over top of me. No, I can't. So,
and let me add also, he had 177 in another league. So he had a great week. Great week. But your Cowboys is who we're talking about, and that goose egg for a defense.
yeah, I got to admit. I was a little – I think the world was shocked. You know, there was so much hype about the Cowboys and what they'd done
Because of
over
people
the
like
last
you.
two weeks.
Because of fans like you. You're the person that Stephen A. is talking about.
No, let me explain something to you. The fans, the people –
Let me call my man Stephen A. right quick.
the people heard Stephen A. Smith
Stephen A.
go glorify the Cowboys defense.
Here's another guy on here. Cowboys
Talking about
fan.
they were great. So it wasn't me. It was Stephen A. Smith got all the fans riled up, talking about the Cowboys defense. But anyway,
Oh. So you admit they were a dud?
I admit. But listen
So
here.
please enter the camera, sir. Please enter the camera. Admit for the record, and we'll stamp this and time it, that you state your name, just like we in court. State your name and that the Cowboys defense was an absolute dud week 3.
This is what I will admit.
Okay.
Trayvon Diggs went down Thursday, and the defense was shocked. Without their all-pro cornerback, they thought things would be okay, but when he was not there Sunday, they felt a little bit slighted of an all-pro. They had a rookie fill in, not saying it was the rookie's fault. He didn't do too much bad. Got beat a couple times. But the nucleus, the core that they have been vibing off the last 2 weeks just didn't seem the same.
Just
They
wasn't there.
didn't have a full week to practice without Diggs.
Okay.
But give my man upstairs in the defensive coordinator box his due. Best to believe, whoever we play this week, we'll be ready defensively.
Okay. And everyone heard the we.
'Cause Dan
And
Quinn-
He's not French. Everybody heard the we.
Dan Quinn may be like top 5 defensive coordinators in the league. He may be number 1 or 2 right now
I'm sorry, something got caught in my throat.
because the Cowboys' turnaround has been the defense, which puts the Cowboys credit to having an opportunity to win a Super Bowl. It's the defense, and it's Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn had head coaching jobs offered to him this past season I don't know how Jerry Jones did it, but he kept Dan Quinn with the Cowboys. That was relevant and very much important to the Cowboys' success. Without Dan Quinn at the Cowboys, I don't think the Cowboys would be going nowhere this year.
Now, see, I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think I know a guy that's a Maryland State bowling Hall of Famer, former high school quarterback with 2 torn ACLs, Hair Club for Men sponsor and contributor, Team Light Skin, Oreo fan, but only can name 3 players on the team that could do the same job. With that talent they have there, I could go there and coach. Our producer, John, could go there and coach. He don't even like the Cowboys. None of us like the Cowboys but you.
First of all, get the haterade out yourself.
I'm sorry.
This hair is natural.
Okay.
Second of all,
It's naturally yours. Yeah, I mean, you grew up with it.
Second of all, it's not always the case when you got great talent that you can send any coach in there and get the job done. You know why? People got egos. As a coach, you have to learn how to manage people's egos and get them off the egos and make them all one.
I agree with that.
If you think you're better than him, we got a problem.
Right.
You know, and you can't show it. You have to become one to be able to win championships. So Dan Quinn has them believing that they're one. And when I say about one unit, we all, if I play bad, we all play bad. Or, you know, it ain't if I play good, we all play good. It's, we all play together. So,
But unfortunately, we spent way too much time on your pitiful dud of a defense.
well, you know, the Cowboys take time. You know, you ask Stephen A. Smith.
When was the last time they won a Super Bowl?
Shoot, Troy Aikman, 19.
Damn. You still had all your hair then.
1994.
Yeah, you still had all your hair. This was before you needed to gray it. I mean, you know, black it out. Sorry.
All right, now he's digging it.
So my last dud.
Somebody get that guy.
So we can close this subject.
Somebody
This
get that
segment.
guy a glass of haterade juice.
My last dud for the day is Mr. Derrick Henry. Has Derrick hit the wall, or was that the Browns' defense is just that good?
Well, there's 2 comments to that.
Okay.
I think the Browns' defense is that good. As we saw Najee Harris, your boy.
Yeah. No. That was the first steal that I've ever drafted in 25 years of doing fantasy.
Listen,
I want
man.
to state that out.
Najee-
As a rookie.
Listen, man, say what you want. Najee Harris, he talked about so much. Najee Harris ran up against that Cleveland defense last week. One of my fantasy teams, I knew I lost because Najee just needed 8 points. He didn't even get 8 fantasy points. So that defense is that good.
Okay.
But if you go by NFL owners who do not want to pay running backs because they hit the wall at 5 years, that's why I say both.
Okay.
Because Najee Harris didn't do anything, and neither did Derrick Henry.
Okay.
And then the NFL owners don't want to pay running backs because they hit the wall after 5 years. And usually the next contract is a 5-year contract. So that's 10 years. And 10 years, running backs'
ain't
longevity
not
don't look
working
so
out.
good because they take a beating out there. So it's both. It was a little bit of Derrick Henry hitting the wall and a little bit of
The Browns defense.
the Browns defense.
So let me go back and add this one very crucial, important part about Najee Harris. In our league that we used to call Straight Out of Baltimore League, and then we had one of our members, Mr. Garen Everett, passed away, so we renamed the league after him. We called it the G League now. In that Super Bowl that year, Najee Harris has carried me to Super Bowl. I happened to be playing somebody on the show. I have video that I may actually edit this video into the final broadcast that shows how he was on this. He snuck in the playoffs. He was the wild card team. He snuck in. And he's got this video claiming about how, you know, he kicked the number 6 team's butt and he did this and he did that and he's gonna come and kick my butt.
Kick the number 1 team's
Yeah,
butt.
that's what he said.
And number
Yep.
2 was next.
I'm gonna play that video.
All I did was
And
kick
I-
the number
and
1
hold on.
team's
Tell the
ass,
story right.
kick the
All I
number
did
6
was
team's ass,
4 points from Dalvin
now I'm the
Cook.
kick coach
He
ass.
4.
And he got 4.
He needed 4 and he got 3.
Oh, there you go.
Dalvin Cook, when he with Minnesota Vikings, perennial superstar running back, laid the egg that night. he got 3 points, and Coach C won the Super Bowl, and he won't let me live it down.
Did Najee Harris get a touchdown in like 80, 90 yards, something to that
Only
effect?
thing I remember, man, is Dalvin Cook.
Oh, okay.
Got 3 points.
But Najee did it. That's all I want to know. Najee did it. Okay. Well, that will conclude that segment. We're going to now talk about our next thing. We're going to talk about our pickups and drops for this coming week. And then we're going to conclude with the Monday night breakdown.
I had something else to say about that Super Bowl.
Oh, what you got to say?
Ask him who won a first Super Bowl between me and him, me or him. I won a Super Bowl in his league before he won.
That is correct. Who has the most Super Bowls in my league?
He beat me last year in the Super Bowl.
So who was the first person to win 2 in my league?
You were.
Okay. Has anyone else ever done that?
I'm going to do it this year.
Has anyone else currently ever done that? The audience, people waiting to hear the answer.
I know the answer to that. I think when you go to court, you have an opportunity to plead the fifth. I plead the fifth.
We'll be right back.
We're gonna take that off. That's good. Pull off. So now you got access to the belt. Now show me the other one. Correct. Remember where the action is coming from. It's coming from out of the wheel into the transmission. So when you look, follow it, and it goes into the transmission. Here. Where's the control arm? I hear you. Put your hand on it. Bingo. This is the control arm. Where's the exhaust? Bingo. Correct.
And welcome back to the Coach's Corner here at AC Sports Studio. My man, Coach Kevin, still here. We apologize for all the Hair Club for Men jokes. We're hoping to get sponsored. Well, at least he is anyway. Save him some money. Some of us have to wear hats, and we ain't got to worry about that problem. So let's talk about our fantasy pickups and drops.
First of all, I just had my birthday a couple of days ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Last Thursday,
And
right?
my age is rising.
Yeah.
So let's treat me nice.
Yeah. Temperatures are rising. You getting old.
Don't let them sing, y'all.
Please don't. Okay. Maybe we can do some audio tunes or something on that. Take it out. So I think the big pickups that have drawn the most attention obviously is Devon A-Chain. He's owned in about 48% of some leagues. People had him to start the year and then dropped him because he wasn't getting used early. I bet they're regretting that now. And I think Joshua Palmer. Who do you have on your pickup list?
My pickup list, none other than Jared McKinnon.
Okay.
The first 2 weeks, he might have been a little slow getting started, but he's back in the mix.
Right.
Because one thing about quarterbacks, even with running backs, because they throw the ball to running backs a lot, quarterbacks will throw to a trusted target. And we know we had a lot of drops the first game in Kansas City, and then we had some injuries. McKinnon is one of his like old but new type of faces. And this past week, I think he threw him 2 touchdowns. So
Yes.
he's gone back to his familiar foe. So if you dropped him, go get him. I think Coach C's trying to pick him up right now. Gotta watch this guy.
I gotta make a move.
He'll get you in. He'll get you in. Even when I'm working, he'll try to beat me to the punch.
That's right. So we gave people a running back, 2 running backs, a receiver. Give me a quarterback to pick up for this week.
Well, he didn't play great. He didn't play bad. But if I had to pick up a quarterback this week, why not Joshua Dobbs?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he really handled himself against that
looking like a
Cowboy
professional.
defense. Because when you put them other teams, especially when you put them other NY teams out there, the New York teams that the Cowboys dismantled, they should. You know what the Cowboys should have did against the New York teams? Took the New York Jets All-Stars, New York Giants All-Stars, and we might have had a good game. So
This is now called the Coach's Corner Cowboy Show, so that we can vent about the Cowboys.
but back to what I was saying.
So you like Joshua Dobbs?
Joshua Dobbs he handled his own against that perennial power defense of the Cowboys. So he might be a pickup if you got somebody down, you know, and you need a backup quarterback.
And see, I thought you were going to go with Russell Wilson
You know, well, I like
because he's not on in a lot of leagues.
I like Russ too, and I just picked him up in my fantasy league. In your
Okay.
league, I picked him up.
Okay.
You know, I needed a backup quarterback. I only had one, only had two, so I needed one. But I figured Russ might be on some rosters already. But Joshua Dobbs is not on people's rosters.
that is
I could tell you that.
That is correct.
So that's why I didn't say Russell Wilson. But he handled himself better than Daniel Jones and Zach Wilson
Against that Cowboys.
against that Cowboys defense.
Right.
He
Now-
made some big time completions.
Do we give it an asterisk because Trayvon Diggs isn't there?
Well, the only reason we would give it an asterisk is because we don't know Kyler Murray's status.
Correct.
So that's the only asterisk.
Okay.
Whether Diggs was there or not, the man threw some darts, the man did some scrambling, and the man got the job done.
Okay.
28 points against the Cowboy team. The New York teams combined didn't put up 28 points.
Gotcha. So we gave some pickups. Now, my biggest drop is Mr. Darnell Mooney. I think that ties in to Justin Fields just not getting it done. I don't think Mooney is going to be a valuable fantasy asset.
Man, you know, do y'all know that NFL players play fantasy too?
Yes.
And I just sure hope Darnell Mooney didn't have himself on his fantasy team, because
he cut himself.
he would implode it and cut himself. You
Right.
know, because the man has posted goose eggs 2 weeks in a row. You know what a goose egg is? Zero.
Zero.
No, that's the hood terminology. Goose egg.
Goose egg.
So he is the biggest drop, the biggest dud. I played him 1 week, and he cost me a match because he gave me a 0. I didn't play him this week, and the person who filled in for him gave me a 0, but I still scored 200 points. You know, but
Let's throw that dig in there. Who'd you play in my league that you scored 200 points on?
I played one of his best friends. If you turn the lights out, you won't see him.
Mr. Coach Tim.
Tim Sinkler. You know, don't turn the lights out when he come over your house. So,
Mr. Coach Tim.
yeah, I beat him like he stole something.
That's bad. And anybody else you want to drop?
No, we talking about anybody you want to pick up?
No, we did drops. We're
Okay.
on dropping. We're dropping Darnell Mooney. We're dropping Joshua Kelly in a heartbeat. What about Josh Reynolds? You want to hang on to him? You want to see what happens?
No, Josh Reynolds had an injury, and that was poor judgment on my behalf playing him. Anytime you got a groin injury, you play, but you're not fully healthy. You're out there as a viable teammate,
Right.
trying to give your
Trying to
team some
give them help.
energy. I'm out here with a groin. A groin is something serious, you know. I've pulled mine several times in the past, and it's hard to do what you got to do with a sore groin or a slightly pulled groin. So
Right.
Reynolds, he's played well last year at the end of the season. He's played well up until the groin situation. So I'm going to cut him a pass because
Okay.
this man gets the job done.
Gotcha. Okay. That's fair enough. We'll give him a pass. So let's head to the Monday night games. Let's try to wrap this show up. We'll try to do this without the long-winded, light-skinned version.
Man, he talking about wrap it up. We could talk all night.
This is time. This is, we can't be in the studios all night. The studio has other things to do. It's like $500 a square foot around here or something like that. There was some kind of breakdown that the realtor gives. It's like 25 square feet and then 22 cents per inch in that square foot times another radius squared times pi. So you get
Somehow, point taken.
yeah. All right, the first game tonight is the Philadelphia Eagles traveling down to Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield. What do you got going on for that game?
Wow. Baker Mayfield, the Oklahoma Heisman Trophy winner who got locked up by the police. Baker Mayfield. Man, this guy got more lives than
a black cat.
you know the thing about it. When you are a number one pick, you got 9 lives.
You got him, yeah.
And he's using all of them. And right now, he's using to the best of his ability.
Right.
He's playing Heisman-like potential right now, or Heisman-like candidate right now. He's really getting the job done over there.
He's getting it done. Yeah, he's getting it done.
When I saw him being the starting quarterback for Tampa Bay Bucks, I initially thought, well, there goes Mike Evans' season.
Godwin.
Godwin ain't full strength coming off, last year's injury or year before.
Right.
But Evans still a super power pack type of wide receiver, but he'll have a bad year.
Right.
And he's been quietly getting work done.
Getting it done, yeah.
And they're 2-0. So Baker Mayfield, I salute your progress so far. I like to see one more W to convince me.
Okay. And what do you think about tonight? You think the Eagles and Hurts can come to Tampa and get a win, or has Baker got enough to get it done?
You remember when they slapped Baker Mayfield to the ground, said put your hands behind your back? That's what the Philly gonna do tonight. Philly gonna slap him to the ground and say, put your hands behind your back, Baker Mayfield.
So Baker Mayfield over or under 275 and 2 touchdowns?
Double down. Under.
Oh, wow. Okay. Jalen Hurts over 240 and 2 touchdowns. Over or under 240 and 2 touchdowns?
Does an over 2 touchdowns mean throwing
or running? Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Over.
Over both. Really?
both.
Over 240 passing.
The only way he won't go over 240 is because they blowing him out by 30 in the third quarter or something like that. He might not have to play.
Okay, gotcha.
I think Baker Mayfield, as bright as he has been, shining like a star,
Okay,
tonight, the eclipse is coming.
gotcha.
I'm not an Eagles fan. I don't like the Eagles. I'm a Cowboy fan, but the Eagles defense shut down corner Schley.
You like that?
Going to handle their business.
Gotcha.
I got Baker over 2 interceptions.
Okay. Oh, really?
Well, 2 or more. You know how they say 2
Okay.
or more.
Gotcha.
Hard to throw 3 interceptions, but I got him throwing 2 tonight.
Okay. And you have the Eagles winning and covering? They got the Eagles -5.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So give me your thoughts on the second game. That they got an hour staggered start, 7:15 and 8:15. The second game is the Rams going to Cincy. And Joe Burrow worked out this morning. He did a separate workout, I guess, to test the calf out. Everything looks good, so he's prepared to play tonight.
You know, everybody talks about this Joe Flacco because he's been to 2 AFC championship games.
Flacco.
Hey, Baltimore. Joe Burrow.
Flacco.
Everybody talks about this Joe Burrow.
Wow.
Oh, we're here in Baltimore. We had to live with Flacco for a while. When we said Joe, we said Flacco.
Oh, man. That's funny.
Joe Burrow. People love Joe Burrow.
They do.
I mean, he's LSU. I'm sorry. LSU.
LSU?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's LSU national champion. He's 2-time getting to the AFC championship game, 1 time getting to the Super Bowl. So people talk about him and give him a pass
Okay.
because he's getting a pass so far this year. If that was Dak Prescott starting the season out, man, they would have had security in front of Dak's house. So everybody just trying to give Joe Burrow the benefit of the doubt that he's a little sore with the leg. Hey, everybody in the NFL is sore.
Okay. Everybody's sore.
Everybody hurting.
Right.
Do your job. And Joe Burrow is getting a free pass.
Okay.
And what's my man on the defensive line? Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald ain't going to give him no free pass. He going to get in his we on broadcast. So we're going to see.
So the Rams are +3 or the Bengals giving up 3. Who you like?
I really like the Rams.
You like the Rams? Really?
I really like
With the 3?
Rams.
Oh,
I like
wow.
the Rams and the 3.
Now, I want you to understand that this is being recorded, so I'll be able to show this to people later on, so you can't switch it up later on and come up with a different answer. Okay, so let's talk about some of the fantasy from the fantasy assets.
What are they playing at, L.A.?
They're playing in Cincinnati.
That makes it a little bit tougher for the Rams and the
So
3.
here you go. Joe Mixon, 75 yards on the ground, 1 touchdown. Over or under?
I'm going to tell you why that's a tough question.
Okay.
Because if people think Joe Burrow is hurt, they don't feel like Joe Burrow can beat him. So they might stack the box,
Okay.
which will make it hard for him to get 75 yards.
Okay. And it's still Aaron Donald there.
Right. But if Joe Burrow can find his identity tonight,
Okay.
like in the first quarter, shows he's capable of making the throws, hitting receivers in motion.
Okay.
And then the second, third, and fourth, Joe Mixon will hammer them for 75 plus.
Okay.
But I think they're going to come out with the fact that they believe Burrow was hurt or having a bad season, whichever way you want to look at it.
Okay.
And they're going to stack the box tonight. You know, that's what I believe.
All right. Jamar Chase, 4.5 catches, over or under?
1,000%. Not even a thought. Over.
Really? Oh, okay. Now on the Rams side, Mr. Pua Nakua, Paku Nakua, whatever his name is, Mr. Nakua, something to that effect. Over or under 4.5 catches?
I only got one question for you.
Talk to me.
Is Cooper Kupp playing?
He is not
Then
playing.
he'll have over 4. He'll have over 8.
Ooh, is that a bold statement? He'll have 8+ catches.
Is Cooper Kupp playing?
He is not playing.
He'll have 8.
Wow. Okay. Now, does Mr. Kyron Williams have another explosive night on the ground against this Bengals defense?
Well, this guy, Mr. Williams,
Can y'all hear that? Can y'all smell that? That's that brain. Y'all smell that?
I'm not
the brain.
sold on Mr. Williams like
really?
you are. See, this guy beside me, he sold on him.
He did me great last week.
He sold on him.
Brought me home the victory.
I'm not sold on
Want
him.
me to show you the stats he had last week?
No, you don't need to show them to me.
okay.
Listen, if Puka and Stafford can continue to connect well downfield,
Okay.
Mr. Williams, he'll have his cake and eat it too.
All right. Sounds good. Well, folks, we want to thank you very much for tuning in. We hope we didn't bore you too much with our trip down the 70s lane with the bowling analogies in a football podcast and wearing an Oreo shirt to a football podcast. It's the light-skinned things that we do around here. We want to thank y'all for tuning in. We really appreciate it coming in to see the Coach's Corner here at the AC Sports Studio.
Well, I've enjoyed my time here. I've enjoyed the fans here. I can't speak for this guy right here, but I enjoyed you. I enjoyed me. I enjoyed the producers behind the scene. It's been a lovely night. And expect more from the dynamic duo. We'll be back again. Not sure when, but count on it.
With no rapping this time. Have a good night.